Hey, LJeH here with a question today. Have you heard about the holidays Christ Mass training program at last we are going to have, where we set our sails at half mast? What mast will you choose to brandish your flag with? That logo which becomes the logos of the Noxus, which is the knowledge of the ledge we know because someone told us that was the edge of their comfort zone. Yo, step no further lest you trespass on what I claim to be mine. You make a counterclaim to my claim, and then you as a man or woman will face off against me, the woman who stands in my private capacity with all rights reserved at all times, and then we show off. We show how much we know and how far we're willing to go, and we bet everything we've got on this because that's what life is about. If you play up front, you will pay the interest. If you pay up front, you will enjoy the interest. You get to choose up front now, at this time, at this hour, which side of the shower you will choose to be on. The clean end on the early side or towards the end. The water might not be as hot by then. That's coercive selling. I'm selling you a drawback of waiting to make my idea of doing it now, because now is all we've got. So we are always trying to get you into the now, get you in the now, so then you can buy, because now is when you buy. But then you pay later, so you don't have to hurt yet. You just have to buy it, and then you get to wait to pay for it later. Yeah, I'm being a bit facetious. But at the same time, it's also true. So I am going to be putting together a podcast with women with strong opinions. And so I'm going to figure out how to make it be a responsible conversation that approaches emotionality from a new way and a new perspective with new hope, new potential, and new supports. So we're going to get an underground mental/emotional health network going to be able to support one another so that we are not waitlisted at our moment of need when we don't know anyone else who would be able to help us, except for there's a lot of us who have been there. And then we go through the feel, felt, found model that sales technicians do. Technicians the technicians that are wordsmiths without knowing it. Doesn't it kind of blow your mind when you wake up to how powerful you are in this matrix? We're matrix because she doesn't know better until she does, because we reminded her of what feels resonant and what is truthful, and then she has a whole new compass to be able to move through life with. Knowing how it feels makes all the difference, she'll say, because we reminded her to pay attention to the signs, symbols, and omens that Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in the Four Agreements, but Paulo Coelho does in The Alchemist, both books of which I would highly recommend. I have a lot more to say, but until then, I'm going to simply say I wrote some pretty kick-ass blogs. My landing page is going up with information on how to get the book. October 10th, 8 p.m., we're going to be doing some book medicine with my book, Fully Committed, The Sacred Sojourn of Now. I'm going to flip to the page where the one that has dared to jump on and express their name, and whether it be a question or whether it just be, what do you got? That's good enough for me. And I will then read the book medicine and then share what I believe is the reason it has shown up in our reality on this show. So that's going to be for a couple hours, and I'm excited to share my birthday with you. If anyone would like to get a copy of my book, you can post your details. It's $6 for shipping in Canada. It's $16 for shipping in the States, and it's $25 for shipping to the UK. So if you're open to pay, then you can send either a PayPal transfer to me with your allocated shipping expense, and then I'll be able to post it off to you. Let me know who you'd like me to make it out to as well. Christmas is coming. If you get 5, it's only $100 compared to $25 for each copy if you're only buying one at a time and then paying the shipping. So all of that is to say I appreciate you. I am grateful for your support. I appreciate your questions, any concerns that you may have. If you have any claims that are counter to that which I shared in mine, please, by all means, do let me know, and then we can have a show off. Right? This is how we do it lawfully. We just like, hey, you're a man or woman, I'm a woman, and I'm standing on claims that I make of beliefs that I believe I have a right to believe. Claim otherwise. If you do, then you're going to be the one who is causing me harm, loss, or participating in fraud to say I don't have the right that I claimed. If you didn't respond within a lawful time period, which I know to give in my lawful notices, because now you do too, right? And that's how we learn as we go through the process. To any man or woman involved in this matter, to the man known as X, acting in X position, these are the ways that we actually take the suits off the men or women when we make lawful notices. And we don't use templates because in school that's called plagiarism when you use someone else's template. It's called copyright for a reason, because you're no longer writing of your own volition, you're now copying that which was already written. Copyright? It's a copyright. So, let us just simplify it and say who is trespassing against you, who has claimed offense of you, by you, who is the victim, and what would the proceedings look like this day? And then, when was jurisdiction gained when I've claimed the right to be a woman in my private capacity with all rights reserved at all times, those being the common law ones that are unwritten and uncapitalized and unhyphenated because they've never been put into a box which would limit that which is unlimited otherwise. So if that which is unlimited until put into a box which you are trying to say I am, and I say nay, and you never contested my lawful notices, then I'm sorry, sir, those were accepted, except for I don't play with titles like sir, madam, or miss. I talk to men and women. And then they see me to be the woman that I am. And then we have a discussion and we come to agreements compared to corporations which would need to orate their corpses, nations, and that which would go along with being one. Corporations, manuscripts, manifestos, the policies and procedures. That which was unlimited only becomes limited once the box is put around it. And then it's like everything in there is it, and then everything outside of it is not it. Well, if it's the energy of all that is being put into the box, it would be the equivalent of if you were to take a glass of water out of the ocean, and then you were suddenly to say, it's just water. It doesn't matter that it came out of the ocean, it's not in there anymore, so it's not ocean water, it's just water. And then to change the original into something that other than what it originally was, for the sake of making an aboriginal status applicable to the one who didn't realize that even one such as OPCA litigant application status, to have that status applied to your person, which is the organized pseudo-legal commercial argument litigant. That aspect of the law is dangerous for anyone who hasn't seen how the Mental Health Act becomes the Health Act if we don't get our act together now and realize that we are all the players on the field of consciousness. There is no us versus them. When chemtrails and bombs are dropped onto the lands that we commonly share, that's our problem. That's no their problem. That's our problem. Community problems require community solutions. So I would really love to be able to offer that to you through the Peaceful Inner Warriors United initiative, which I founded a few years ago, and I'm so excited to see how now it's all coming together with Fully Committed and the launch of it, because I do outline what Peaceful Inner Warriors United actually means within that work. And we're going to dig deeper into it too. Because this winter, we are going to actually create a series, the Holidays and Christ Mass Harvesting Party. We're going to actually see how we've been harvested energetically, and then be able to see that there is no oh God, this is going to be a controversial one, but there is no narcissist and empath. There are ones with narcissistic tendencies and empathic tendencies. But no one of us is all of those things just because we fit into a couple of those definitions on the box that comes from the all, but then only put a few in the box. And then we think we're limited to just the few in that box. Well, what about in that box, and that box, and that box? Because all of those boxes come from the all, right? Just take a breath and breathe that one in. Have a sip. That right there is pure gold. I hope you were minding it, and if you didn't, if you missed it, go back and listen to that again, because that is powerful. Alone and all one are a letter apart. And then we must add the space for whether we're going to fill the all with love or lies. And then that's when we realize that we're the ones who came here to turn this ship around before we went over the edge of the no-ledge that told us wisdom was not the wizard's domain. When I say, is it? I believe it is. And so we make these claims to be the ones that claim to wield command over the wizard's domain, and then we claim to be the wizards that do. Because we did it. Because we're doing it. Because we're continuing to take action, and we're not just talking about it. We're not just complaining about the way things are and the way that we don't like them to be. We're actually saying, okay, that's not how I want it to be, but this is. I like this better. This is my preference. I'm going to choose that intentionally now instead of that which I don't wish to focus on. So instead of focusing on pushing against that which I don't wish to focus on, which indirectly gives that which I don't wish to focus on my energy to focus on it, to make sure I don't focus on it. So there's a whole lot of paradox in that whole idea. Instead of forcing and pushing against that which we resist persists, we're going to redirect our focus instead onto that which we do desire. What do we wish to give birth to sire in this world? And then we're going to give our energy to that. And we're going to watch as the lights change in our space, because there is a reset that is about to take place. It is the reset of our own circuitry, to be able to see ourselves to be creators instead of reactors. That's what we're going to be going through together in the months leading up to Christmas and beyond it too, because if we don't know how to recognize other fellow peaceful inner warriors united, then what do when we're the only ones that actually have a clue what's going on when things turn, when things stop coasting the way that they have been, even though it hasn't felt that way specifically, right? Like, these are the things we need to be able to support one another with. So I look forward to being able to do that with you again another time very soon. My birthday is T-minus 3 days away. Did you know that NASA and Satan and Santa are all spelt very similarly? I know. And then the T-minus, Santa or Satan, would make it then NASA? Interesting. All right. More nuggets I go for today. And then I say no, did you know? But album 23, we are launching it soon. On October 22nd, we will gather to talk about what we did before, the 2 albums that have 44 songs on it. And then we're gonna go into what's happening next. And I want to invite you to journey inward, fans and artists. Like we're going to go on a transformative journey into who and whose you are. So that will be album 23. But leave it to me to give you more details soon. I say, LJeH, namaste. Nama go for today.